7. The weaver's dream. In a quaint village, there was a weaver named Raman. He was skilled in his craft, but he was never satisfied with his work. One night, he dreamt of a beautiful golden bird that promised to fulfill his deepest wish if he could weave a perfect cloth. Raman woke up inspired and decided to weave the most beautiful cloth anyone had ever seen. He worked tirelessly day and night, pouring all his creativity and skills into the cloth. However, just as he was about to finish, he noticed a small flaw. Frustrated, he unraveled the cloth and started over. This cycle repeated many times, with Raman always finding some minor imperfection. Weeks turned into months, and he grew tired and wearied out. One day, an old man came by and saw Raman exhausted and disheartened. The old man said, "Raman, beauty lies not in perfection but in the effort and love you put into your work." These words struck a chord in Raman's heart. He finished his cloth without worrying about every minor flaw. When he laid down to rest that night, the golden bird from his dream appeared and said, "You have understood the true meaning of your craft. I grant you peace and contentment." Raman woke up the next morning with a newfound sense of fulfillment. His cloth, though not perfect, became famous for its beauty, and Raman was admired for his dedication and passion. Moral: true satisfaction comes from the love and effort you put into your work, not from achieving perfection. 8. The broken pot. A water bearer in a small village had 2 large pots, each hung on the ends of a pole that he carried across his neck. One of the pots was perfectly made and never leaked. The other pot had a crack in it and leaked water all the way back to the house. This continued for 2 years, with the bearer delivering only 1.5 pots full of water to his master's house. The perfect pot was proud of its accomplishments, but the poor cracked pot was ashamed of its imperfections and miserable that it was only able to accomplish half of what it was meant to do. One day, the cracked pot spoke to the water bearer by the stream, "I am ashamed of myself, and I want to apologize to you." "Why?" asked the bearer. "What are you ashamed of?" "For these past 2 years, I have been able to deliver only half my load because this crack in my side causes water to leak out all the way back to your master's house. Because of my flaws, you do all of this work and don't get full value from your efforts," the pot said. The water bearer felt sorry for the old cracked pot, and in his compassion, he said, "As we return to the master's house, I want you to notice the beautiful flowers along the path." Indeed, as they went up the hill, the old cracked pot took notice of the sun warming the beautiful wildflowers on the side of the path. This cheered it up a bit. But at the end of the trail, it still felt bad because it had leaked out half its load again. The bearer said to the pot, "Did you notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path, but not on the other pot's side? That's because I have always known about your flaw, and I took advantage of it. I planted flower seeds on your side of the path, and every day while we walk back, you've been watering them. For 2 years, I have been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate my master's table. Without you being just the way you are, he would not have had this beauty to grace his house." Moral: everyone has unique flaws, and sometimes, these flaws can create unexpected beauty. Embrace who you are and recognize the positive impact you can have on the world. 9. The merchant and his servant. A rich merchant in a village had a loyal servant named Hari. Hari was very honest and hardworking, but the merchant often treated him poorly and did not appreciate his efforts. One day, the merchant decided to test Hari's loyalty. He called Hari and said, "I want you to deliver this important letter to my friend in the neighboring village. It is a matter of great urgency." Hari set off immediately, determined to fulfill his master's orders. On his way, he encountered a man lying by the roadside, gravely injured and in need of help. Hari was torn between his duty to his master and his compassion for the injured man. After a moment of thought, he decided to help the man. He took the man to a nearby village, found a healer, and made sure the man was cared for. Only after that did he continue his journey to deliver the letter. When he finally reached his destination, The merchant's friend was grateful but commented on how late Hari had arrived. When Hari returned, the merchant was furious. "You are disloyal and useless. You took so long to deliver a simple letter," he yelled. Hari calmly explained what had happened, thinking he had done the right thing by helping someone in need. The merchant, however, was still angry and decided to dismiss Hari. Days later, the merchant's friend came to visit. He told the merchant about how Hari had saved a man's life and said, "I have never met a more honest and kind-hearted man. You are fortunate to have such a servant." Realizing his mistake, the merchant apologized to Hari and asked him to return. Hari forgave him, but he requested to leave and work for someone who truly appreciated him. Moral: true loyalty is not about blind obedience, but about doing what is right. Kindness and compassion should never be compromised, even at the cost of losing something lesser. Would you like more stories or specific themes for the next ones? 10. The generous beggar. In a small village, there lived a beggar named Raghu. Despite being poor and having little for himself, he was always willing to share whatever he had with others in need. One day, a wealthy merchant, known for his stinginess, was passing through the village and noticed Raghu sharing his meal with another beggar. Amused by Raghu's generosity despite his poverty, the merchant decided to test him. He approached Raghu and said, "I see you are a generous man. If I give you a sack of rice, will you share it with others or keep it for yourself?" Raghu smiled and replied, "I will share it, as I always do. Sharing brings me joy." Intrigued, the merchant gave Raghu a large sack of rice and hid nearby to see what would happen. Raghu immediately divided the rice into small portions and began giving it to the other beggars in the village. He kept only a small portion for himself. The merchant was moved by Raghu's kindness. He approached Raghu again and said, "I was wrong to doubt your generosity. From today onward, I promise to be more generous myself." The merchant then offered Raghu a job, ensuring that he would never have to beg again. Moral: true generosity comes from the heart, regardless of one's circumstances. It often inspires others to be more giving. 11. The wise judge. In a village, there was a wise judge named Birju, who was known for his fairness and wisdom. One day, two men came to him with a dispute over a piece of land. Each man claimed that the land belonged to him and accused the other of trying to steal it. Birju listened carefully to both sides and then announced, "To settle this matter, we will have the land decide who its rightful owner is." The two men looked puzzled but agreed. The judge took them to the disputed piece of land, gathered the villagers, and asked both men to plant a sapling on the land. He declared, "Whoever's sapling grows faster and healthier after a month will be the owner of this land." The men agreed and planted their saplings. For the next month, both men took great care of their saplings, watering them daily. However, one of the men secretly tried to harm the other's sapling at night. When the month passed, the judge called everyone to see the result. Surprisingly, both saplings were almost the same in size and health. The judge smiled and said, "The true owner of this land is the one who took care of both saplings, knowing that harming his opponent's sapling would harm the land too." The man who had tried to harm his opponent's sapling was caught off guard, realizing his trickery was known. The honest man was declared the rightful owner of the land, and the village learned the importance of fairness and good intentions. Moral: fairness and good intentions will always prevail over deceit and trickery.